Take a second. Look at that title one more time. It sounds like a nightmare, doesn't it? But for the people you are about to hear about, this was their terrifying reality. Before we start the engine, I need to know something. Where are you right now? Are you safe, curled up under a blanket? Are you watching this from your office when you shouldn't be? Or ... are you sitting alone in your car? Tell me in the comments, what is your local time, and are you wearing headphones? Because trust me, for the audio experience, we've prepared. Headphones are mandatory. We are hunting down a goal of 500 subscribers this week. If you want true horror content delivered to your feed every single day, hit that subscribe button and help us get there. Now, ... Let's drive into the dark. Asterisk, I tapped the rim of my empty coffee cup against the dashboard for the third time in as many miles. Ruby's Diner Laramie logo faded to a smudge of red and white. Chip on the left side, where I dropped it last winter outside Rock Springs. I'd filled the thermos there at 2 a.m., same as every westbound run. Same waitress giving me the same eye roll when I declined the peach pie. "You're gonna drop dead at the wheel one of these nights, Jimmy," she'd said. I'd grinned and told her not to waste. Good pie on a ghost. Ghosts don't drive 48-foot. Reefers hauling frozen beef up and down. Ghosts don't have a streak too. Protect 47 runs without an unscheduled stop. Flat tire outside Green River. Changed it in 12 minutes, engine idling the whole time. Blizzard rolling off the Wind Rivers. I don't slow down. Not until the signs say I have to, by the time I cleared the Continental Divide just after 4 a.m. The snow was coming in sideways. The wipers were on high, and I still could barely make out the edge of the road. The CB had gone quiet an hour. Back even, the regulars, the guys who ran the graveyard shift with me, had signed off to hole up at the rest stop outside Jeffrey City. I keyed the mic once, just to hear something other than the wind screaming against the cab. Anybody out there stupid enough to be moving? Static. No answer. I rubbed my eyes until they burned. 19 hours since I'd slept. The thermos was empty. I'd chewed through 3 packs of gum and half a bag of sunflower seeds. My hands were tight on the wheel, knuckles white. And every few minutes, I'd tap the dashboard twice, another stupid ritual. Something my old dispatcher taught me back when I was still green. 2 taps for safe road. 3 for luck. I hadn't tapped 3 in years. That's when I saw it, out the passenger window. A shape dark against the white. Not a deer, don't run that straight. That's steady. Not a coyote, it's too big. I glanced at the speedometer. 65. I'd let off the gas a little when the snow thickened. Still well above the crawl most guys were doing. The shape was keeping up. I laughed, sharp and tight. White line fever. Classic. I'd gone 18 hours without sleep once before, out in western Nebraska, and sworn I saw a herd of cows walking on their hind legs along the shoulder. This was just that, again. A trick of the snow, the exhaustion. The way the headlights bent the flurries into something they weren't. I reached for the gum, popped another piece into my mouth, and forced my eyes back to the road. Then the thud dot soft at first. A tap like a kid throwing a snowball. Then harder. A solid, resonant thump against the passenger door. I jumped, spilled the last dregs of coffee from the thermos onto my lap. Glanced over, nothing. Just snow, swirling so thick I couldn't see 10 feet past the side mirror. Stupid fucking debris, I muttered. I reached down to wipe the coffee off my jeans, and when I looked up again, the passenger window was fogged. I froze. The outside temp was 17 below zero. The defroster was cranked to max, but the passenger window had never fogged before. Not out here. Not in this cold. I leaned over, slow, like I was afraid to startle whatever was on the other side. The fog wasn't uniform. It was a patch right at eye level, roughly the size of a man's face, like someone had pressed their cheek to the glass and breathed out hot breath. In 17 below, my throat went dry. I fumbled for the CB mic, keyed it, yelled into it so loud my voice cracked. "Whoever the hell you are, cut the shit. I ain't stopping." No answer. Just static. Then, suddenly, it cleared. And there was a sound. A high, thin, desperate sound. A baby crying. I stared at the CB radio like it had bitten me. The crying was soft at first, then louder, sharper, like the baby was right there, in the cab with me. I slammed my fist against the radio, turned the volume all the way down. The crying didn't stop. It was still there, in my ears, like it wasn't coming from the speaker at all. Another thud. Harder this time, on the roof. I flinched. Then scratching. Deep, raking scratches, like something with claws was dragging them along the metal. I glanced up at the ceiling of the cab. Nothing, but could hear it. Scrape, scrape. I checked the fuel gauge then. The needle was hovering just below a quarter tank. The next truck stop was 42 miles ahead, outside Evanston. If I kept going at 65, I might make it. If I slowed down, I glanced at the passenger window again. The fog patch was still there. Fainter now, but still there. The baby's crying got louder, more urgent, like it was begging me to stop. I pressed my foot down harder on the gas. 67, 68. The truck shuddered, tires slipping a little on the snow-packed asphalt. The shape outside the window didn't fall back. It kept pace. I don't know how long I drove like that. 5 minutes, 10. It felt like hours. Every time I glanced over, I could feel it looking at me even through the snow, even through the glass. Every thud on the door, every scratch on the roof, made my heart jump into my throat. I found myself whispering over and over, not to stop, not to slow down, not to look. Then I hit the ice. It was a patch, black and glossy, hidden under the snow. I didn't see it until it was too late. The truck slid. I jerked the wheel to the right, too hard. The trailer started to swing. I slammed on the brakes, but it was no use. The reefer jackknifed. The cab tilted. I was thrown against the door. My head hit the window frame. Stars burst in front of my eyes. For a second, everything was quiet. No wind, no crying. No THUDS. Then the passenger window shattered. I didn't have time to scream. A hand reached in long, thin fingers, black nails, sharp as fillet knives. It grabbed at my arm. I fumbled behind the seat for the tire thumper I kept there, heavy hickory. Carved with my CB handle, YO Ghost, sanded smooth from 10 years of use. I swung it as hard as I could. It hit the hand. There was a high, keening shriek, like nothing I'd ever heard, too human to be an animal, too animal to be human. The hand pulled back. I swung again at the dark shape leaning through the window. I didn't see what it was, not clearly, just a blur of matted dark fur. Eyes that glowed pale yellow in the dim cab light. A mouthful of teeth that glinted sharp. I reached for the emergency flare I kept in the door pocket. Fumbled with the striker. It sparked once, twice, then caught. Bright red light flooded the cab. The creature shrieked again. Louder this time, shrill enough to make my ears ring. It recoiled, falling back into the snow. I waved the flare at the window, yelling, screaming, anything to make it stay away. The light painted the snow around it red, and for a split second I saw it. Tall, gaunt, shoulders hunched, legs too long for its body. It stared at me for a heartbeat, then turned and ran faster than anything had a right to run. Vanishing into the blizzard before I could blink, the truck slid to a stop. half off the road, tilting toward the ravine that dropped off to the right. I kept waving the flare until my arm ached. Then, slowly, I let it fall to the floor. My hands were shaking so bad I could barely hold my own weight. I reached for the radio, fumbled with the emergency button. Mayday, Mayday, I-80 westbound. Mile marker 279, jackknifed reefer. Need assistance. I don't remember much after that. I think I passed out. The next thing I knew, there was a knock on the driver's side window. A state trooper, hat caked in snow, face set in the kind of grim calm that only comes from spending too many winters on Wyoming roads. "You gonna let me in, son?" he said. I unlocked the door. He helped me out of the cab. My legs gave out the second I hit the snow. He caught me, propped me up against the side of his cruiser. "Easy," he said. "You're lucky. That ravine down there's 50 feet deep. You missed it by 6 feet." I tried to talk, tried to tell him about the thing. The trooper just nodded like he'd heard it 100 times. He walked over to the cab, shone his flashlight up at the roof. "See that?" he said. I looked. There were claw marks. Deep, raking marks, going all the way from the front of the roof to the back. Marks that could only have been made by something big. Something with sharp, powerful claws. Marks I couldn't have reached. The trooper glanced at me. He didn't ask questions. He just said, quiet, like he was telling me a secret no one was supposed to repeat. "Happens this time of year. Blizzards roll in and they come down from the mountains. Folks don't talk about it much. Most of them don't make it to tell." He helped me into the cruiser. I sat there, staring out the window at the blizzard. The radio crackled. A dispatcher's voice. The trooper didn't mention the claw marks again. He didn't mention the thing. Later, at the hospital in Evanston, the doctor said I had a concussion. Said I was lucky. Said the exhaustion and the cold had made me hallucinate. I didn't argue. What was the point? But last week, I got the bill for the truck repairs. The estimate had a line item I didn't expect. Roof replacement, claw damage. I still drive I-80, but I don't run the graveyard shift anymore.